Well, listening to that interview was Majed Bamya, Palestinian Deputy Observer to the UN, who joins me now. Thank you very much for joining us here on the programme. So you heard there the views in Israel towards these demonstrations in campuses in the United States. But just give us a sense of what your views are, because, of course, you're sitting there in New York, and some of these demonstrations were happening quite close to where you are.
So the question is, who is being denied the right to self-determination? Who is being pushed out? It's the Palestinian people. Who is being killed now in a massive manner? And I am concerned more not about the people who find this outrageous, but by the people who try to justify that. Protesting against a ceasefire is okay, but protesting for a ceasefire, for stopping the killing of tens of thousands of civilians would not be okay. And because we are here in the United Nations, this is a global phenomena of rejection of these Israeli massacres against the Palestinian people. There is outrage across the world, across generations, across faith, across nationalities. And so the attempts to characterize these movements as anti-Semitic is ridiculous. And anti-Semitism accusation is a serious matter, and we should all fight anti-Semitism and racism. But shielding Israel through that accusation is not acceptable. Yesterday, the Israeli permanent representative said that people who were in favor of the two-state solution and the admission of the state of Palestine to the UN were anti-Semites who wanted the destruction of Israel and collaborators of the Nazis. So if you want equal rights, you are anti-Semite. If you want two-state solution, you are anti-Semite. That's the way Israel, that's the only argument remaining in their bag to say we are entitled to kill civilians and we are shielded from any accountability.
Mr. Bamya, I want to shift your attention now to the situation on the ground. In the last few days, we've heard Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu say, come what may, we are going to go into Rafah, with or without a ceasefire, with or without a deal. Just your concerns and reaction to that.
Again, this is because of the lack of accountability. This is impunity. And therefore, the problem is not the people who are asking to ban selling weapons to Israel, to hold Israel accountable. The problem is the ones shielding Israel from accountability. Those who are giving weapons to Israel that allows it to continue to perpetrate these crimes. And therefore, now Rafah, where they have pushed over 1.4 million Palestinians into that very small area where they're using starvation as a method of war, where bombardments are continuing, where they've destroyed all the requirements of life anywhere else. They're saying that little place that we are bombing currently, we're going to invade it. And the whole world is saying no.
Mr. Bamya,
Israel
I just
could
want
care
to know,
less.
Is there a sense that, this invasion of Rafah is imminent? And if so, is there an idea of what the plan is to move these Palestinians, the 1.4 that you talk about, elsewhere? Are you hearing about any sort of plan?
There is no viable plan. They kept moving people saying there is somewhere safe in Gaza. There is nowhere safe in Gaza. And Israel made sure no one was safe in Gaza and no place was safe in Gaza, because the point is to push people outside of the Gaza Strip, is to resolve the Palestinian question through killing, forcible displacement and subjugation of the Palestinian people.
Do you see from
how many red lines does Israel have to cross for a reaction to finally be at the level of the crimes that are being committed?
The Israeli response on Rafah is that they need to do whatever it takes to destroy Hamas. They say that, they perpetrated October 7, they killed 1,200 Israeli civilians and soldiers, and they have these hostages in Gaza. They need to destroy Hamas. That is the response from Israel.
So because we have prisoners, because we are under occupation, because we have endured massacres after massacres, we would be entitled to kill Israeli civilians left and right. There's reason why there are rules. These are rules that govern everybody. Palestinian civilians are not less civilians than the others. Our lives and our children's lives are not less worthy than the lives of others. It is unacceptable to justify what is happening in Gaza that amounts to genocide by Israel's need to security. This is exactly what Israel has been doing for 75 years. It is generating insecurity for everyone. We want to have peace and live side by side as international law provides for. Israel says its enemy is the Palestinian state, its Palestinian self-determination, it's our very existence. So its excuses are irrelevant. The reality of its policy is it doesn't want the Palestinians. Its fight is against all of the Palestinian people, and that's why it's killing, displacing, and harming Palestinians as a whole. And that's why you have this global movement of solidarity across the world that we appreciate and salute.
Majed Bamya, thank you very much for joining us.